It is hotter than the Fast and Furious tailpipe out here today. Today we're going to make a funnel here on Sheet Metal is Fun. So let's go have fun with funnels. I'll see you guys inside. Welcome back to Sheet Metal is Fun. Today we're going to make a funnel. What's more appropriate than to make a funnel in a Sheet Metal is Fun class? I've got a bunch of other visual aids here and some of the other projects that we're making here at the shop. This is a trim ring for a street light. Pretty heavy duty. This is all welded. We're not going to make that tonight. These are visual aids on what a 6-inch and a 4-inch collar look like. We've got a couple other, I'm going to show you how to make a storm collar. But one of the things I want you to know is that we have, I think we have about 6 or 7 videos. And I really think you would do yourself a favor to watch all of them. Every one of them, you can't judge a book by its cover. So in the title, we can't put in everything that we're going to put into the video. Just like tonight, you got to see that, a welded transition. This, we're going to make a funnel. We're going to make a 6-to-4 taper. That's going to be fun. But I want you to go and look at some of the other videos because there's always going to be something that you can find in one of the other videos that we couldn't put in the description. So for 1 week only, I got a special offer. If you watch any of our other videos and you don't learn 2 new things, double your money back. And I know what you're thinking, that's crazy, but I feel good about this offer because number 1, I think you're going to learn 3 things in each video, and number 2, all these videos are free, so I don't have to worry about cutting a check. But I did want to mention some of the other videos that I think if you watch, there's some nuggets of wisdom in there that I think would do you well. Hun, can you pass me that note? Thank you. So these are some of the other videos that we have that I think you would enjoy watching. We got watermelon, cheddar cheese, burner phone, fake ID, and new mop. We got a video called New Mop? Oh, wait a second. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong side. So we've got these 3 videos that I think you could still get in there and get some really valuable tips and tricks. There's one on tape measure and fractions. We've got a great way to work with fractions. It's a game changer. We have one called sawing versus shearing, where we talk about the difference between sawing and shearing. Oh, the title kind of gives that one away, doesn't it? And then deconstruction and visualization. The fact that I got that word out without muffing it up is pretty dang impressive. But I just want you to look at some of the other stuff when you have time. Call through it. Take a quick look, and you're going to find something in each one of those lessons. Like I said, double your money back if you don't. All right, let's get started with tonight's. Lesson. We're going to make a funnel. I got to class a little early tonight, so while you guys weren't looking, I went ahead and made one. So this makes it a visual aid. This is 6 inches. This is 1. And this is just going to be an example of things that you can make and maybe you never thought about making before. If it was bigger, it could be a cool hat. So come on in over here real close. I'm going to show you how we're going to develop the pattern for a funnel. And then once we make the funnel, we're going to go to a transition as well. All right, get that visual aid right there. I'm hoping that I'm going to try to hold this in a way with the least amount of glare we're going to make a 6-to-1 funnel. 6-1. It's going to be 5 inches tall. And now I want you to see how we develop this pattern. So what I've drawn here is, we don't need to draw the whole side view of the pattern, but we can draw just 1/2 of the side view of the pattern. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our scribe and we're going to mark a 1/2 inch line across the bottom, across the side. I like to mark a line up from the bottom and in from the side. That way we're not trying to put our dividers where the sheet runs off. We're not trying, we can actually move in here, put a prick mark where our compass point is going to be. So I actually, if this is a 6-inch funnel that we're going to make, we've only drawn half the profile. So this is 3. This is 1 inch. Also we've drawn half. So this is a 1/2 inch. So whenever we get to decide how long the funnel is going to be, let's go ahead and make it short enough that whenever we come to our apex, the apex is still inside of our sheet. I'm going to show you, after we make our funnel, we're going to make a taper. It's going to go from 6-inch round, 4-inch round. So it's going to fill the gap between those two collars. This line right here, here's our apex. So once we draw half of the profile of the taper, in this case, funnel over here, then where this line intersects this 1/2 inch line that we've drawn in from the edge, that's where our dividers are going to start. So if we stretch this fitting out, if we made the transition taller, what's going to happen is this apex would then run off the end of our sheet. So whenever it's up to us to determine the length of our taper or our funnel, always make sure that it runs up to a reasonable distance that doesn't run off the end of the sheet. Now, if the customer calls and says, I want to have a 6-to-4 transition and I want it to be 11 inches long, that point is going to be way, way out there, but customers, that's what they want, that's what we're going to give them. But whenever it's up to you and it's your decision, make sure that this apex stays on the sheet of metal that you picked up. So what we're going to do now is we've drawn a 1/2 of our profile. So I have 6 and 1, and you and I both know this is 3, and that's 1/2. So come on over here. I'm going to take my dividers. I'm going to place one leg of the dividers on the apex, one leg on the side view. Here we go. It's always easier if you drag the dividers. If you try to push it, that doesn't work. So we're going from our apex down to our 1/2 profile. There's our 6. Now let's do the 1. This one isn't going to be much. Look at how short that is. All right, so since this funnel that we're going to make is 6 inches diameter on the large end, we have gone through extensive math. 6 times pi. We're only going to carry it out to 2 places. So 6 times pi is 18 7/8. And then we're going to add a 1/2 inch lap so we can make this riveted seam right here. This laps over 1/2 inch, and that's going to give us a place to put our rivets. So what I've done is I've grabbed a piece of scrap off the back of the shear, and I actually marked 18 7/8 because I don't even know how long this piece is. It was just scrap. If I put a mark right here, there's a chance I could use the wrong end, and that would throw off everything. So 18 7/8 from the end of the metal to our mark. And I'm just going to bend this around. This is the reason we're going to use a piece of scrap. So we can bend it around over the top of this line that we just made. All right, here we go. I'm eyeballing down to make sure I like it, and I do. Now I'm going to mark that dimension. So now I've ruled out 18 7/8 around the outside there. On the next one, we're going to do it on a green piece of metal, and hopefully that'll answer some of the questions that we have about glare. So when we're laying out a funnel, we always have to go back. This is our point of reference. Every line that we make must radiate out from this point. So here is there's the line. I just wanted you to get a good idea of about what a funnel looks like. Almost looks like a slice of cantaloupe. Really poorly shaped cantaloupe, but cantaloupe. So what we got to do is always make reference back to this point. So we started right here. Let's go ahead and mark that. This is where we began our measurement. And down here is where we finished our measurement. So we're going to go put one leg of our ruler on the apex. And we're going to draw a line down to where our stretch out came to a completion. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to add the 1/2 inch on here. You don't have to, you can just wait right there. I'm going to show you when we get to the green piece of metal what I'm doing. But now we have our cone, our funnel laid out, and I'm going to add on a 1/2 inch here for that lap, so that whenever our funnel comes together, we have an overlap that we can put our rivets in. So I'm adding a 1/2 inch. All right, now it's time of the show where I can put my reading glasses on. Now, I can see the outline of our cone. It's just past this black mark. We talked in one of our other lessons about that. We're going to call it the 85-15 rule, where 85% of the energy that you put into your snips goes to performing the shearing function. The other 15 is the spreading function. The smaller the piece that we're cutting, the easier it is to make a cut. Here, let me grab a piece real quick. Back to that 85. Can you see this from right where you're at? So when you cut through the middle of a piece, that's where we have to, it's more difficult to lift the drop and to do the spreading. And if we come over here to the edge, if I'm just cutting a little tiny bit off, it's not 85-15 anymore. It's a lot easier to cut a small piece off because there's less resistance against our snips. So whenever we can, let's cut off as much as we reasonably can and make it easier on the cutting. So here's, I'm going to take this over to the shear, but I just made a mark on our metal just outside of our project. Because the last thing we want to do is, while attempting to make our life easier, we put it in the shear, cut through our project. So we're going to just cut it off on that mark. Look at that, right on the mark. Okay, let's cut out our funnel. So this is the part I want to keep. I'm letting the drop just fall away. See how the keep is staying flat and the drop is falling away? We don't want that hanging around. All right. I'm just cutting this out. That one. Now we're going to cut the small part out of the top. So now I've found 3 pieces of stuff laying around the shop. Now we're going to bend up our funnel, and we're going to start with this bigger piece. And I'm just going to bend it down over this piece of pipe. I'm holding the middle, the small part, in one position, but then moving the outside, because really the outside is where all the movement needs to take place. There's the big one. Here's the medium one. We're doing this in phases just to make it a smoother transition. So I'm just pushing down and forcing the funnel over this piece of pipe. We're getting close. We're going to finish up with our smallest piece of pipe. We chose this one because it's a little bit smaller than our opening. We're never going to get down to our opening if we're using a piece of pipe that's larger than the opening. So the last one is the smallest one. So this is what we're going to do over our fine tuning right here. So now I'm focusing mostly on the small end. I don't know if you can see me rolling the funnel around the small end. Man, that looks good. Let's mark. We used a 1/2 inch lap, so we're going to use our 1/2 inch scribe. Make a 1/2 inch line. And we're just going to continue to shape this around. Break. So I've marked the 1/2 inch allowance, the 1/2 inch lap that we put on there. And it doesn't matter which end you start at, we're going to start at the small end. Vice grip on there. Now we're going to come out here to the big end. We're looking for that scribe line that we put in. There it is. Vice grip on that end. Now we'll get our pot pivoter out. Let's load it so it's ready when we're ready. Our drill, since we're making this for ourselves, we're going to eyeball this, and I think something like this, 3 rivets is going to do the job. So always watch yourself. Don't put yourself behind here. Put yourself in a place of safety. So I'm starting. I want you to, can you see that right there? Can you see that, the edge of the funnel? The lap goes underneath here 1/2 inch. Yeah, look at that. I think you get the idea. I just wanted you to have an idea of where the lap was underneath. There's our 1/2 inch lap right there. So whenever we're going to put these rivets in, we know we have a 1/2 inch overlap. So let's go ahead and mark these. We know the lap is a 1/2. Let's go 1/4 inch in. So I've gone 1/4 of an inch in from this edge. So we know that's going to put us somewhere near the middle of that lap. All right, make sure you are in a good, safe place. We're going to push as hard as we can, drill as slow as we can. Every time that drill bit goes around, we want to see shavings coming off. One of the things I like to do, as soon as we get the first hole drilled, put a rivet in. Where you can go wrong is you can go through here, drill all 3 holes, and if anything at all changes in the angle of your drill, then you're not going to be able to go back and put those rivets in. But if we know that we drilled it and we put the rivet in, we know it's going to work. So here, let's go to our second one. Do another one. Man, this is looking great. Go ahead and get that one ready for the last one. One more time. Take our vice grips off. So since we bent this thing by hand with over a piece of pipe, there's going to be some irregularities. It's a good thing you know how to use your snips, because there's no scrappy edges around here. No fish hooks, we call them. All right, look at this. So there we have a funnel. 6 inches across the top, 1 inch across the bottom, riveted on the seam. Yeah, who thought you were going to come to work today and make a funnel? So since we shaped it around a piece of pipe, it's going to take a little bit of, you have to put a little bit of love on it. Look at that. So that would be roughly a 6 inch. This is 6 inch. What we have, not roughly, we have an actual 6 inch funnel. We're not going to do it tonight, but next lesson, I'm going to show you how to put a collar on this funnel. I like that thing so much. Sheet metal is fun. Isn't that great? Learn how to make a funnel. So, don't go anywhere. Our oldest son and his wife are at the, oh, we got a baby. Our oldest son and his wife are just had our newest grandbaby. It's a girl. Oh my gosh. It's a girl. Woohoo. Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys can see that. If I show that right there. That's our newest grandbaby. You guys are seeing it for the first time. She is brand spanking new. She's probably a couple of minutes old. Hi, little one. We don't even know her name yet. That's Holly, our daughter-in-law. She's precious. Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to keep that right here. I'll call them in a minute. It looks like they got their hands full right now. All right, so we made a funnel. Man, I am so excited about calling them that, yeah, we're going to call our son, congratulate our new grandbaby. We're going to cut it off right there, and you guys saw it here first. That's our new grandbaby right there, brand spanking new. Right out, wow. Right out of there. Wow. All right. We really appreciate you guys dialing in. We got to call Justin and Holly, tell them we love them, and find out the name of our new grandbaby. They didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, so they didn't have a name picked out. Thank you guys for stopping by. Sheet metal is fun. We're going to go meet our new grandbaby. Good night.